Okay, we've got the live stream going. Okay, so welcome everybody. Hope everybody here in the United States and Canada had great holiday weekends. So we had in the United States, we had the 4th of July, and then of course up in Canada, they had Canada Day on the 1st. So for those of you in those two countries, hope you had a great holiday weekend. And those of you not in the US or Canada, hope you had a great weekend. All right, let's take a look at the markets. Hang on a second. Let me move something around here. Got a nice picture of Thomas Wong here that I just need to move to a different screen. All right, let's take a look at the markets. Okay. All right, so markets right now looking a little weak, right? So we've been rolling over since early this morning, making lower lows and lower highs, both on the ES and on the NASDAQ. So I'll be looking to trade in the direction of the market. Of course, you know, we still have another half hour or so before the market opens, but we'll keep an eye on things. But right now, futures are looking down. Let's just zoom in here a little bit. I don't know what this line is. Hang on a second. Got a couple of drawings in here that are not supposed to be there. Okay. So looking like a potential gap down, but we'll keep an eye on it, see if it starts to bounce at all between now and market open. But let's go through. Let's see. We'll keep an eye on this, like I said, for the next 30 minutes. We'll see, you know, if this downward trend starts to stabilize and if it starts to push up again. Just looking through here at, you know, we do have some obvious support right through here, right here, again through here. So we'll keep an eye on those levels. So let's go back to my other screen share. I'm going to throw X onto a different area. I've already gone through and I've updated all my lines, and we'll go through this. But I've gone through and I've updated all my lines on the stocks that we follow for the 10 EMA strategy. X could be one of my. It could be my. You know, we're allowed to have an alternate one. So I'm noticing X here is gapping down. So I'm just going through my gap up and gap down list on Interactive Brokers. So I'm just going to put X down here. You can't see it, but we'll come back to it. All right, so let's go through all of our tickers that we follow. And again, just to mention, hey Hector, how are you? Just to mention, you know, I'm currently trading using the funded account, and there's a couple of the tickers that we trade in the 10 EMA strategy that the funded account does not include, like Roblox and Airbnb. So for any of you who are trading outside of the funded account, obviously keep track of those. But let's look at Nvidia. Gone through, and hey Tony, how are you? Gone through, updated all my lines, but let's just take a look here. So I've got the high and the low of Friday here indicated on here. So we are currently gapping down. So we are gapping below the low here. So that's if it stays below here, we would be able to trade that immediately. Let's just see here. Yeah, so we're still below here. Let me just update. I've got the I've marked off the pre-market high, and let me just adjust this one. This is the pre-market low. Just drop that right there. Again, just reference point. I'm going to have on all my charts. I want to see what the high and low of the previous day was. I want to see where the point of control, volume point of control was from Friday, and then I also want to mark off the high and the low pre-market, because those are levels that I'm going to be looking at once we go live and the market is open. I want to be able to have those on my screen as well, so I can see the pre-market highs and lows. because those are important levels to trade off of. Yeah, so Tony, if it gaps down here, yeah, it would be a bearish retest gap, right? So because it was a red candle on Friday, a red candle gapping down would be a retest gap. So that's correct. Now, but pay attention here. So the market's gapping down. We're going to watch this again. We've got some support down below, but I mean, this is so far 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 bearish candles in a row on Nvidia. So, I'll be watching this closely to see if there's any indication of a bounce. My closest weekly support is way down here. So, Brandon, what's up, brother? So right down here, this is the 200 on the weekly. So that's pretty far away. And so weekly supports down here, monthly way down here. So we've got a ways to go. Let's go back to the daily. Okay, so there's Nvidia. So again, looking at a bearish retest gap right now. Tesla. And again, with Nvidia, you're going to see this a lot. So it's kind of following the market, lower lows, lower highs. It's been stair stepping down since early this morning. So let's take a look at Tesla. I've got all my lines updated here. High and the low from Friday. We've got the green lines. Now, what's interesting here with Tesla is you have 2 indecision candles in a row on the daily. So just keep that in mind, that so far on these 2 days, the market, Tesla had yet to really pick a direction. So we'll see if it breaks the low of this, is it going to keep pushing down, or is it going to find support and hold this? So, or this on the daily, this could just keep building pressure before it makes a move either up or down. I have my the 10 EMA here on the daily, the 20, those are plotted out here. So here's the 20 up here, here's the 10. I've got my high and my low from Friday marked off. I have my point of control. So Tesla right now is an inside candle. It has not yet broken the low from Friday. So keep an eye on that, see if it can actually break down. It looks to me with Tesla, if it breaks 666, it's got room to go lower. Yeah. And that was that level, the 666 level. I mean, in addition to being a satanic number, that is a level where it was finding support, right? So right all through here, right? You can just see all these multiple touches at that level. So got below it here, but then got bought up. So we'll keep an eye on that. If it does break that 666 level, there would be room to run. So maybe down to the 650. Yeah, down to around 650. Load this candle. That would be the first target. Maybe I'll just go ahead and drop a line in there just as a reference. Right. So the low here. There's Tesla, Amazon. So Amazon actually moved up initially pre-market, and now it's been selling off. So it got up, the pre-market actually broke Friday's high pre-market up here. If I zoom in a little bit. So again, I'm on a 5-minute chart here. I will drop that down to 3-minute once we get closer to market open. So Amazon, again, same lines. I've got the green line is the high and the low from Friday. I've got the 10 EMA here plotted out. I've got the 20. I've got this is the 50 here, pretty far away, so we're probably not going to interact with that. But again, I do want to keep an eye on these levels. So right now we are an inside day, right? We are, even though we broke above pre-market, we've come back within the range. So right now, inside candle so far on the daily. We'll keep an eye on that. So, and the reason it's important to me for that it's an inside day is because inside days I find typically represent a lot of chop. So you're going to be aware of that and know that you could experience a lot of chop. Let's go AMD. All right, so AMD, we are, so again, the green lines represent the high and low from Friday. We are currently below. So we're currently trading below the price action on Friday. So again, red candle on Friday. If we get a gap down here, that would be a bearish retest gap. So we would look for it to retest and then roll. And there could be a small retest initially and then a larger retest later on. Got the 200 down here on the daily. I'm sorry, on the weekly. This jagged line that represents the weekly 200. So that's the support way down here. So thanks, Tom. I see Thomas just posted in Thomas Wong just posted in Slack some of the gaps he's looking at for the day, and we'll take a look at those as well. So anyway, AMD currently trading below. Delta. Delta initially traded below here, but it's back up within the range. So again, it's currently a inside, even though it's really close to Friday's low. It's pretty close, but it is back inside of the range. So, but not a ton of pre-market. If you compare Delta here to what we were just looking at AMD, look at the difference in the pre-market action, right? A lot more volume on the other tickers that we've looked at so far. A lot more. That looks like an intraday chart, right? Whereas Delta looks like a little bit of chop. It's gappy, not as much volume. But anyway, it's we've got on the daily. Again, I've got high to low plotted out, point of control from a couple different time frames here. So now, if we do gap, let's say we gap below this, right? So if we gap below Delta, so I'm going to throw this out to the group here. So what kind of gap would that be? I know all of you experienced traders will know this, but some of you newer and developing traders, what kind of gap would we have if we gap below Friday's low? Yep, exactly. Yep, Petra, Zach, yep, gap and go. So that would be a gap and go since you had a bullish candle on Friday, and if we open below that, that is a gap and go. So there you would expect some quick movement out of a gap and go. Let me open up Slack here. Thomas, okay. So we'll look at Thomas's list of tickers he's watching for the gaps. Let's go to now. This is so far, all of these tickers are the ones that we are following for the 10 EMA strategy. But I'm going to take a look at Apple, which is no longer on our list for the 10 EMA strategy, but I do keep an eye on it. So again, Apple inside day currently. So we have actually, I did not adjust one line here. Hang on one second, 139.04. All right, so we got the high and the low of Apple, again from Friday, these green lines. Then we have the high and the low pre-market, which are the orange lines. So we're currently trading again inside. So again, inside candle, I typically expect chop. So I would be patient with that one. This jagged line here is the weekly 100. So I've got that plotted on my chart, and that's right over here. So again, all these higher time frame moving averages are important. You need to have them on your chart, and that's why I draw these lines, and then they cross over to my smaller time frame, so I can quickly reference those. see. I know there's a bunch of you in here who trade Oxy. Oxy was pretty interesting on Friday. So anybody who was watching Oxy, that would have been clearly a perfect place to have just bought. This is the 100, right? Look at that. Just kissed it and ran, right down here. So nice area where you could have just done just a blind buy, right? Put in a limit buy, let it come down to that, stop down in here, touch off that 100, and then it just went bullish the whole rest of the day. I'm curious. Again, I know there are some of you here who trade actively trade Oxy. Did anybody catch that, or did anybody take the limit buy off that 100 on Friday? Curious if anybody took that. All right, so Oxy, I missed it on Friday, saw it too late. Yep. So yeah, but look at that. I mean, that would have been a perfect. Let's look at it on the 5-minute chart, right? You could have once it bounced here, you could have just set up. Once this candle came in here, this one, you could have just set up a limit buy here, stop down here, and then would have gotten triggered in on this bearish candle. Now, again, that's not applying the 10 EMA strategy. I'm just looking at like if I had seen that, what I would have been looking at in terms of an entry. So once I saw this these couple indecision candles, small candles, they're high wave candles right down here off this, and then this candle, right? And then if you look, that looks like a shaved top, high 57.65 in the close. Yeah, so it was a shaved top candle. So there was buying right up until the close of that 5-minute candle, right? So strong sign, moves up higher, and then it comes back and retests this level, and then it goes. So those of you who have done my mentorship groups, that is exactly what I look for. So my approach is I try not to get caught in the traps. So by waiting for this candle to form and seeing that strong close, then have it move up and then come back and retest. This is my confirmation that I see, right? So strong close, pull back, retest the breakout level, and then it goes. So that could have been a really sweet trade if I'd seen it, but I did not see it. What time was it? I'm curious. It's about 10:45. Okay. All right, let's take a look at. I was looking at X. It's interesting. I haven't traded X in quite some time. Like it's one that the room used to trade frequently a couple of years ago. I have not traded it often. It's probably been a couple of years now, at least 2 years since I've traded X. But anyway, that caught my eye. So I've got that on the list. Let's look at Thomas's list. So we got Dollar General. Okay, so Dollar General gapping up. Let's see, where is it? Is it clearing this pivot? No. So it's gapping up, right? So right now it is trading at 248.65. So it's just below the highs of these bearish candles. So an ideal gap would be if it could open above here, above these bullish candles. So if it was gapping above this pivot right here, that would make it an even stronger gap, and that is like 251. So it's close. Keep an eye on that. Although again, I look at not a ton of pre-market volume, right? So it's not printing a whole lot. Here's 700. I mean, that big candle, 764, 647, 700. So just keep an eye on that. So it could just not gap at all, right? Because there's not a ton of volume. So that's Dollar General. Again, with like I have built into my own rules, my trading rules, that ideally I want to see about 10,000 shares traded pre-market if I'm going to take something. Let's take a look at JP Morgan. All right, so JP Morgan. Okay, so interesting. It could potentially form a gap and go here. So the low from Friday. So it's trying, right? It's an interesting couple of candles here, right? This one and this one. You know, where they're, you know, sometimes I look at that and I go, okay, well, is it a real candle? Is it not real? But interesting level right there, right? So rejected here and here. So I would, you know, that would be a level that I would keep an eye on. You know, pre-market level that I would watch. What else did we have? AMAT, applied materials. So this would, if it gaps below here, that would be a retest gap. Again, we have a bearish candle on Friday. Now, keep in mind, here's the weekly 200 right here, right? So if you're watching this level, right, that could, just like what we looked at with Oxy, right? That could be a level that people are just going to step in and buy there if it does. So if it does get down in here, that level right there, the 81.67 right now on the weekly is certainly a potential buy area. So I would watch that if anybody was looking at getting in here, potentially short, right? That would at least be my target. I would be looking for that level and expect people to step in and buy. But again, not a ton of volume pre-market. So we'll see what that does. What else do we have? Moss. Okay, potential mosaic, potential gap and go here. All right, so let's see here. So you've got here, this jagged line here is the weekly 50. So I would make that a little bit heavier line, just so I know for sure what that is. Because I use the same colors on all time frames. So how I distinguish between them is I will make the line thicker. So if you notice, this line is thicker than these other lines here, right? So I can look at that right away and know that that is a higher time frame moving average here. 36.27. Again, higher time frame, so I'm going to make that a little heavier. Now, again, the low of this candle is pretty close to the low of these, right? So I want to see price stay underneath here. So it's a pretty good gap. We'll keep an eye on it. Again, not a ton of volume pre-market, but it is a potential gap and go. So I will certainly keep that on the list. Just write that down. All right. So I will go and look at Airbnb. What am I doing here? There we go. All right, so Airbnb, we are currently, it's an inside day right now, right? So inside day on Airbnb, again, just remember inside day, there can be a lot of chop. Roblox and Roblox currently is inside day. All right, so we have 4 minutes before market open. Any other requests there you want me to take a look at? No other tickers? All right, well, then I will go ahead and I'm going to going to stop the YouTube feed. So all of you watching here on YouTube, if you like the analysis that you're seeing, if you want to be a part of a great trading community, real life trading, so you can go to reallifetrading.com, sign up for the room, be a part of a great community, trade with other people through Slack, through this live trading room. You can also hit subscribe to Real Life Trading, the YouTube channel, and we hope to see you with us in the future.